So, now that you've seen the cinematic MOC showcase, I want to give you a closer look at all the rooms, all the features, because this MOC is quite a little bit more complicated than things I've done in the past. So I want to show you how it all comes apart, where all the features and things like that are, just so you get a full understanding and the best possible look at the MOC that I can give you. So starting off, I'm just going to show you the electronic door. Now the access panel to the door is round this side over here. By removing the fence and then this little panel, you can get access to the power pack button. Then to control the door, use the Power Functions remote control. Also with the Power Functions, you can turn the lights inside the small bat cave under Arkham on and off as well. There are also some more lights in the MOC, but they are using the Light My Bricks, which is some custom LEDs designed for LEGO. Now the switch for them is at the back of the MOC, and this part can be removed if I need to replace the batteries as well, just by pulling on it. Unfortunately, I could only have lights on the main island because I only have one power pack, and making the other parts modular, there was no way to have the wires be able to disconnect. Now I'm going to start taking the parts of the MOC off one by one to give you an idea of how each section comes apart to access all the different interiors. Now disconnecting this first section, which is the entrance to the asylum. Now some key features to note about this are the microphones used for the bollards and also the Technic clips used for the Arkham sign, which I think turned out very, very nicely. And I have also used these sections here from the set as well, just because I like this detail quite a lot. This bridge section can also disconnect as well, but there's not really a reason to do that. And also you would have to take this rope away first. This dock as well, where any boat could dock up to Arkham and deliver inmates or supplies to the asylum. Next up, moving over to the original Arkham Asylum building, which in order to release, you do have to unclip a string from the left side of the wall. But this part of the MOC is probably my favourite building, and it is the largest building structure, one big structure in the MOC. You can see the stained glass window design, which I did take from the Arkham Asylum set, which you can see up on my shelf at the moment. I've also got another design on the back here for a window, which I think turned out quite well as well. Now, in order to gain access to this part of it, you don't actually remove the roof, because I have got the helicopter crash, so it couldn't come out as one component. So instead what you have to do is remove this seagull down here, and then also this one gargoyle as well. And then this whole wall on this side removes as one large piece, and that gives you a really nice look inside this building. So inside we do have the medical ward of Arkham Asylum. Now it is quite smaller than it probably would be, but I didn't really have any of the space in the MOC to put it. Now you can see inside, as I have got outside, I've got the sand blue colour scheme, which I think adds a nice little touch, and it's a very nice colour, and it's quite saturated, which does suit this Arkham MOC. You can also see these railings here, which is a balcony that overlooks the evidence room, which is down below, which you would have seen in the MOC showcase. And also another level of this part is the rafters up here, where you can see Damian Wayne Robin looking down over the evidence room where Scarecrow is below. You've also got the small medical area here with a desk, some doctors and nurses looking over the patient's bed, but there isn't anyone over at the moment because Arkham Asylum is in lockdown and all the inmates have escaped. Now, taking a look at the evidence room, which is exactly what the last building we just looked at sits on. So in here is where they keep all the villains' costumes, which you would have had a good look at earlier in the video. But we've got Riddler, Joker, Penguin, and many more as well. I went for the white colour scheme in here because I needed to conserve the other colours for other parts, so I tried to mix up the colours in order to make the MOC as large as I could. This part of the MOC, this part here, is what links into the main island in order to keep them connected. And this bridge over here leads over to the prison cell building, which we'll have a look at later. But now, let's move on to that main island. So before I can give you a look at the main island, all that needs to be removed is this bridge here, which just rests on these tiles and can be very simply removed. So now you can see the exterior of this island here, which I think turned out quite nice. I didn't have that many pieces to do the texturing, but I still think I did quite a good job. And I do quite like what I did with Mr. Freeze over in this section, which you would have seen quite a lot in the MOC Showcase earlier on. But now let's start taking a look inside the interior. Now, in order to get access inside this hut, you have to remove this top section first and just move this over to the side over here, because this part is not going to come off. Then this whole roof section does just remove, and inside there you've got some very nice details. Then, in order to access inside this main section, there are a couple of parts that need to come off. This section here, this very small section, just slides out, and then this whole part here can just come out. It can be a bit fiddly with the trees and also the fencing, but it does come out in one piece, which gives you access into the garage area. Now, to gain access to the entrance in this corridor here, there's only a little bit of access through this panel here, and you can only see a little bit inside. This part doesn't come off just for structural reasons, but there is more of that tunnel in there. Now, you can also remove the hut here, but that does reveal the power functions, but I've made it look as neat as possible. But that section doesn't necessarily need to be removed. I'm just showing the purposes of the video. Now, the watchtower can also come off as well. Removing the final panel, you can now get your first look at the full interior of this section. So we've got the garage, we've got the corridor with the electric fence into the high prison cell, high security area, and then the small kitchen as well over here. Now, there is one more thing in this section that can be removed, and that is this section just here, just pops out, and that's just to allow me to remove the battery box, which is placed on tiles. So if that runs out of batteries, I can take it out, place the batteries, so I can charge up the motor again. But before I give you a look at the final section of the MOC, there is one last secret this island has, and that is the secret Batcave, or small armoury for Batman on Arkham Asylum. Now, for minifigures, it's accessed through this pipe down here, and then there's a small gate which leads through into the Batcave. To access this part, the roof isn't removable. This whole panel slides open and then can be pulled out like that with two Technic pins holding it in place. And in here there's just some weapons, some gear, the Bat computer, and also a spare costume as well in that corner. So moving in the last part of the MOC that we do need to look at, which is the jail cell building where all the prisons for the inmates are housed. Now, to get here, there is this bridge which connects to the front, and then also another bridge over on this side as well, which leads over to the evidence room. Up at the top here, we do of course have Poison Ivy's throne, which she has created. And another thing to note is to get up onto the roof is just this little access panel at the top here. So removing this roof, we can get a look inside. We of course do have the office over here with the security guards, the police force, and the computer screens here showing all the inmates that are currently in Arkham. And these are the stickers taken from the official Arkham Asylum set. You can also see lots of other details in here, like all the mess on the table, the magnifying glass, the brick-built chairs, and I'm very happy with how this room's turned out. I've also got the sand green colour scheme as well here, and of course a ladder going up to the roof. So, removing this floor to get a look underneath. We've now got the main prison cell area where all the inmates are housed, and these would just be normal inmates not ones with extreme superpowers that need specialised cells. There are 2 floors to the cells, some nice stairways here with some handrails, and then to get access to the lower level of these cells, this part is just removable and you can see inside there. But there is a whole nother level of cells which is below all of this, underground, where the superpowered villains are contained, like Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, that need specialised cells because they're more dangerous and more powerful. So to get in there, we just remove this part, and for the minifigures there is a ladder here which leads up to a hole in the floor on the other part. And in here we can see that there's more modern scientific prisons that are more advanced for housing the inmates. We have a prison cell for Mr. Freeze, who has escaped and freezed a prison guard. We've got Bane's cell, who is still in captivity, Poison Ivy, who was completely broken out, and that is why she's on the roof at this point, and Man-Bat, who is in captivity as well. So finally you can just see all the different parts of the MOC laid out on the table, and this really does, I think, show how complex the MOC was and its scale really, and how many bricks it did take up, because it's almost taken up all the parts in my collection. But that does bring this MOC showcase to an end. I do hope you did enjoy it, and hope you did enjoy the MOC as well, but I would appreciate any feedback you do have in the comment section below. Now before I do end this video, I'm just going to announce what my next MOC is, and that is I'm going to be building Camino from Star Wars, so I do hope you look forward to that. But for now, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. But most of all, thank you so much for watching.